Angel from Los Angeles. In today's pro wrestling world, the kickouts from finishers, finisher spam, spamming near falls after a huge spot is pretty commonplace. I remember being conditioned as a kid watching Raw. John Cena would hit the AA on someone, and that was the end of the match. They only needed one finisher to win. In 2005, matches to have people kick out from finishers more than twice and spam near falls became a big deal. It's like every wrestler gets 2 or 3 resiliencies from the 2K games. When do you think this started to become the norm? I think it started to become the norm more in the late 2000s, early 2010s. But it was a thing long before. It may not have been the norm, but it was a thing long before that. I mean, dude, it goes back to the early 90s at least that I can remember. You know, first of all, Hogan would kick out of everybody's finish, right? Warrior did that. So it was usually reserved for like the top guy at the time. They would no sell. Hogan did it his whole fucking career. I mean, Vader would give him a power bomb in WCW and he would pop right back up. You know, Savage would drop the elbow on him. He would get right back up. Undertaker would drop him for the tombstone. He would get right back up, except that one time when he didn't because you got me, brother. But outside of that, Hogan made a career out of doing shit like that. And even like Undertaker and Kane, when they feuded like in the late 90s and it took multiple tombstones to put Kane away, and like you could find examples of it. Even like through the Attitude Era and into the Ruthless Aggression Era. It's not like it never happened, but it's become a real issue. And I would say it became the norm late 2000s, early 2010s would be my answer. And you know what? I think the key match was at least like mainstream, because really what I blame for that, I think it really, honestly, I mean, it comes out of the independent scene and the rise of like PWG and promotions like that. It was a different style. And you really started to see a lot of that, I think, during that period. And that's what caught fire and ultimately became the norm in wrestling. It comes from that indie style. But you go back to Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25, as like major matches go, that match was filled with that type of stuff. But they did it in a way where, to me anyway, and I complain about that sometimes, but to me, it didn't take away from the match. It just added to the match, the way that they did it. And maybe it was because the streak was on the line, and so you had the drama of the streak, and you wanted to have those dramatic near falls and kickouts. It worked. But they did a lot of that in that match. And there are people that will look at that match as the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, as maybe the greatest match of all time in WWE. Like it's in that conversation. And so what happens when you have a match like that that's so influential? Savage and Steamboat is another example. Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, the ladder match. Look what happened after that. How many guys grew up watching wrestling or were young and were watching when Shawn and Razor had that first ladder match? And then they became a wrestler and they said, hey, I want to do that, but we got to do it even bigger than they did. So instead of having one ladder in the match, now we have 3 ladders in the match. And now we have a tag team ladder match. And now we have to do crazy dives and all this wacky shit that is just increasingly dangerous. But we have to keep upping the ante here because we can't keep doing the same stuff that those guys were doing 5 years ago. So what can we do to top it and raise the bar? So it's the same thing here, where you have a match like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, just using that as an example. And there's a lot of people watching that going, man, you know, we got to start doing that in our matches, because look at the crowd, man. They're popping off, right? The crowd is really responding to this, and this is exciting stuff. And so we have to start doing it. So now it's no longer just the top guys doing it. It's no longer just Shawn Michaels or The Undertaker doing it. Now every fucking buddy is doing it. And that's what happens. And the more you see something, the less you want to see it, because now it's just nonstop, constant. You see it in every single match. Constant kickouts and this finisher spam. Cena at this point can't do much more than that, so he's going to rely on that more and more. We're going to see him doing 5 attitude adjustments in a match. I mean, he was doing that over 10 years ago. We're going to see that even more now, because some people just lean into it. They rely on it because there's maybe not much more that they can do. I hate it. I hate how it just has the proliferation of it is what I hate. I think in certain instances it's fine. but the overexposure of it and doing it to death every single week, almost every single match, finishers, and they don't mean what they used to. The more that you do something, it means less and less. You could say that about anything. It's one of the reasons why I hated when Raw moved to 3 hours and SmackDown went to 3 hours. The more that you give people something and you kind of overdo, you overstep, the less they want to see it. I mean, unless the product is just that good, which right now, like on the SmackDown side, it's not. And thank God we only have a few weeks left until SmackDown goes back to 2 hours. But that same logic you can apply to so many different things. So I like the analogy you used about the 2 or 3 resiliencies from the 2K games, because that's really what it's like. It's like video game wrestling. I mean, that's really what it is.